You are listening to Inside the Search Bar podcast with Sarah and Mike. Today we're diving deep into common marketing mistakes. We'll be exploring those pitfalls that can really trip you up and how to steer clear of them,
Sounds good.
so you can refine your strategies and see those results. It's fascinating how often businesses stumble
Oh, yeah.
over these same marketing hurdles, even those with years of experience.
You would think it gets easier,
Right.
but it really doesn't.
You'd think after a while it would be smooth sailing, but it turns out marketing is this ever-evolving beast.
It definitely keeps you on your toes.
So let's break down these mistakes, starting with over-romanticizing your business.
Okay.
It's easy to get swept up in the excitement,
For sure.
pouring your heart and soul into something you believe in.
Passion is definitely important.
Absolutely, that passion is essential for the initial spark. However, we can't let our emotions completely dictate our business decisions.
Right.
There's a reason that age-old saying,
Yeah.
"It's not personal, it's just business,"
Mm-hmm.
resonates so strongly. It's a reminder to ground ourselves in the realities of running a business,
For sure.
analyzing financials, scrutinizing metrics, establishing robust processes, and of course adhering to the rules.
Definitely.
Okay, so passion is important, but we need to balance it with pragmatism.
Right.
It makes me wonder, what about the flip side of that? Are there times when businesses aren't passionate enough about what they're offering?
That's a great question. It links directly to another frequent mistake.
Okay.
Not truly understanding your customer's problem. You might have a fantastic product or service, something you genuinely believe in,
Right.
but if it doesn't solve a real problem for your target audience,
Yeah.
well, you're going to have a hard time convincing them to buy it.
It's like that classic scenario of falling head over heels for your own creation, but failing to consider if anyone else will feel the same. I've definitely seen that happen. So how do we avoid this? How do we get inside the heads of our customers and really understand their needs?
One effective way is to shift your focus from the product itself to the job it does for the customer. There's a framework called Jobs to be Done
Okay.
that helps analyze what underlying need your customer is trying to fulfill. For example, someone buying a drill
Yeah.
isn't just buying a tool.
Right?
They're buying the ability to hang a picture or assemble furniture. Understanding that deeper motivation can transform your marketing message.
That's a really insightful way to look at it. It's not just about the features and benefits of the product.
Right?
It's about the outcome the customer is ultimately seeking.
Precisely. And speaking of understanding your market, let's move on to another critical mistake.
Okay?
Neglecting to analyze the competitive landscape. No business operates in a vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
You need to know who else is vying for the same customers you are.
Right. Different is better than better, as they say. But how do you actually achieve that differentiation? What makes a business truly stand out in a crowded marketplace?
It's not just about being different for the sake of being different. It's about strategically identifying your unique value proposition
Mm-hmm.
and communicating it effectively.
Okay.
Take Geico, for example.
Okay.
They're in a notoriously boring market, car insurance, but they've managed to create a distinct brand identity
Yeah.
with their quirky advertising and memorable characters.
It's brilliant. They took a commodity and made it engaging, giving people a reason to choose them over the competition.
Exactly.
That's such a good example. It shows how creativity can really make a difference,
Yeah.
even in unexpected industries.
Uh-huh.
So we've talked about the importance of understanding our customers, analyzing the competition, and finding our unique selling proposition.
Right.
What other pitfalls should we be aware of?
One that often trips up entrepreneurs is the belief that a great product or service is enough to guarantee success. You pour your heart and soul into building something amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But then you just assume the customers will magically appear.
It's like that if you build it, they will come mentality. I can definitely see how easy it is to fall into that trap, particularly when you're starting out and resources are tight.
It is very tempting to think that. The reality is, building a successful business requires more than just a fantastic product.
Right.
You need visibility so people even know you exist. You need authority so they trust your expertise.
Uh-huh.
You need credibility so they believe you can deliver on your promises.
So it's about building a brand
Exactly.
that people trust and want to engage with. It's not just about the product itself, it's the whole package.
It really is.
So where does marketing fit into all of this?
Marketing is the engine that drives awareness.
Yeah.
It builds that authority and credibility.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately helps you reach your target audience. It encompasses everything from targeted advertising to engaging content marketing and, of course, the power of word of mouth.
Speaking of word of mouth, that brings us to another crucial element that's often overlooked: customer experience. In today's digital age, Word travels fast.
It really does.
One glowing review can send customers flocking your way,
Uh-huh.
while a single bad experience can spread like wildfire, impacting your brand's reputation.
Yeah, and they're hard to come back from.
It's almost like this digital age has put every business under a microscope. So how do you create a positive customer experience that not only avoids those negative reviews, but also fosters those valuable positive ones?
One crucial aspect is recognizing the importance of speed
Okay.
and a human touch,
Hmm.
especially in customer service. Today's consumers expect quick resolutions and personalized interactions.
Right.
They want to feel heard and valued, not like just another ticket number.
It's interesting you bring that up because I think it highlights a potential advantage small businesses have. You can build those personal connections with your customers in a way that larger companies might struggle to replicate.
Absolutely. That personal touch can be a real differentiator. Now, speaking of differentiation, let's shift gears to a mistake that can really hinder your growth.
Okay.
Not having a concrete marketing plan. It's not enough to just have a great product and hope for the best.
Right.
You need a strategic roadmap that guides your efforts.
So it's about moving from a reactive approach to a more proactive and intentional one. I imagine this is where a lot of business owners get overwhelmed. Where do you even start with creating a marketing plan?
The key is to break down the customer journey into stages,
Okay.
starting with awareness.
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to grab the attention of your target audience? Then, think about how you'll effectively communicate your unique value proposition.
Right.
Finally, consider how you'll guide them to the point of sale, whether that's a digital storefront or a physical location.
It sounds like there's a lot to consider.
There is.
No wonder so many businesses struggle with this aspect. And, creating a marketing plan is one thing.
Right.
But then there's the whole challenge of executing it.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for navigating that process?
That leads us perfectly to our next mistake.
Okay.
Thinking you know it all and trying to do everything yourself. This is a trap many entrepreneurs, especially those starting out, fall into.
Uh-huh.
You're wearing all the hats, learning as you go,
Right.
and it's easy to feel like you need to handle every single task yourself.
It's the classic superhero entrepreneur complex. I've definitely been there, feeling like I needed to be the expert in everything.
It's very common, but looking back, I realized that mindset actually held me back in a lot of ways.
That's precisely the point. Trying to be a jack of all trades often leads to burnout.
Definitely.
And let's be honest, subpar results.
Yeah, that's the truth.
It's much more effective to acknowledge your limitations and seek out expert help when needed, just like you wouldn't try to perform surgery on yourself.
Right.
You go to a trained surgeon.
Exactly.
Right. The same logic applies to your business. That analogy makes it crystal clear. So how do you know when it's the right time to bring in outside help? And are there ways to do it without breaking the bank, especially for businesses that might be on a tighter budget?
Hiring consultants can be a game changer.
Okay.
It gives you access to specialized knowledge
Mm-hmm.
and experience
Right.
without the commitment and overhead of hiring full-time employees. Think of it as an investment in specific areas where you need support.
That's a really practical tip, especially for those of us who wear multiple hats.
Yeah,
It's about focusing on our strengths and outsourcing the areas where we might not have the expertise.
exactly.
Now, speaking of investing, I think a lot of business owners struggle with the concept of marketing as an investment, not an expense. It's easy to put marketing on the back burner,
Oh, yeah.
especially when things are going well. Which brings us to another common mistake, marketing avoidance.
That's a big one.
It's like going to the dentist.
Right.
You can avoid those regular checkups and hope everything's fine.
Uh-huh.
But then you end up with a major toothache that requires extensive and expensive work. Exactly. It's about preventative care, whether it's your teeth or your business. So what's the solution? How do we shift our mindset to see marketing as an ongoing investment rather than something we only do when we're desperate for new customers?
The best time to market is when you don't think you need it. Consistency is key.
Okay.
Build that momentum over time so you're not scrambling to catch up when things slow down.
Consistency is definitely key in so many aspects of business.
It really is.
And, while we're talking about consistency, let's dive into content creation.
Okay.
Specifically, the difference between good content and bad content. I think this is where a lot of businesses really struggle.
It can be tricky. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that good content needs to be flashy or expensive to produce.
Yeah.
But that's a misconception. Good content simply needs to provide value to your audience.
Okay.
It should either entertain, educate, or ideally do both. It's about connecting with your audience in a meaningful way.
So bad content is basically the opposite of that. It's the content that falls flat,
Right.
doesn't resonate, and doesn't offer any real value. It's the stuff people scroll right past.
Exactly.
Think about it. What type of content do you personally engage with? What makes you stop scrolling and actually pay attention?
For me, it's content that either teaches me something new, makes me laugh,
Uh-huh.
or tells a compelling story.
Right.
And it needs to be well written and visually appealing. If it looks like it was thrown together in 5 minutes, I'm probably not going to give it much attention.
That's a great point. High-quality content doesn't have to be complicated, but it does need to be well-crafted and thoughtfully presented.
Absolutely.
Now, speaking of presentation, let's talk about a mistake that can really hinder your marketing efforts, not understanding or utilizing a proper marketing funnel.
Oh, that's a big one.
I feel like this is where a lot of businesses get lost. They have this amazing content and a great product,
Right.
but they're not seeing the results they hoped for. Is that because they're missing that crucial element of a well-defined marketing funnel?
Absolutely. Many businesses just expect customers to magically appear without a clear path to guide them.
Right.
A marketing funnel is essentially a roadmap
Okay.
that outlines the journey from their first point of contact all the way to the point of sale.
So it's about breaking down that journey into stages and crafting content and strategies tailored to each specific stage.
Exactly.
But how do you even begin to create a marketing funnel? It can seem like this really complex concept.
The easiest way is to reverse engineer the process. Start with the desired outcome, the point of purchase, and work backward.
Okay.
Ask yourself, what steps did someone have to take to reach this point? What were their touch points?
Right.
What information did they need?
That's a really practical approach. It's like mapping out the steps in reverse, starting at the destination and working back to the beginning.
Precisely. Now, hand in hand with understanding your funnel is the importance of understanding your metrics.
Okay.
Digital marketing is all about data.
Right.
And you need to know what's working and what's not to make informed decisions.
It's not just about creating content and sending it out into the void.
Nope.
It's about tracking its performance, analyzing the data, and making those crucial adjustments.
Exactly.
Things like website traffic, conversion rates, and the sources of your leads are all crucial pieces of the puzzle.
For sure.
You need to be able to assess whether your marketing efforts are actually driving results.
That's the key.
So it's about moving beyond vanity metrics, like the number of likes or followers,
Right.
and really focusing on the metrics that truly matter.
Exactly. And thankfully, there are tons of tools available today that can help you track and analyze these metrics, even if you're not a data expert.
That's great news for business owners who might not have a dedicated data team. It's about democratizing access to these valuable insights. Speaking of democratizing access, let's shift gears and talk about outsourcing.
Okay.
While it can be a valuable tool for business growth, it's crucial to understand every aspect of your business before you hand over the reins to someone else.
That's a crucial point. Without that foundational knowledge, you're essentially flying blind. You won't be able to effectively manage someone else doing the job,
Right.
assess their performance, or make informed decisions about hiring and firing.
I imagine this is especially important for areas like marketing, where it's so easy for things to go wrong if you're not closely monitoring the results.
Absolutely. You need to be able to spot red flags,
Uh-huh.
understand the nuances of the strategies being implemented, and ensure that your brand's message is being communicated effectively.
Right.
You can't do that if you don't have a solid understanding of the fundamentals.
So it's about being an informed and engaged leader,
Yes.
even when you're delegating tasks.
Exactly.
Now, speaking of delegation, let's move on to a mistake that can really hinder your marketing efforts.
Okay.
Focusing too much on standing out without providing genuine value. We talked earlier about the importance of differentiation.
It's like that old saying, substance over style.
Right.
You can have the most eye-catching branding and the most clever marketing campaigns, but if you're not offering something that people genuinely want or need, it's not going to work.
It's about finding that sweet spot between differentiation and value.
Exactly. And it's about remembering that standing out is ultimately a byproduct of delivering exceptional value. Think about a sports club, for example.
Okay.
Just being different from other teams isn't enough to attract members. You need to offer something they truly desire.
Right.
Expert coaching, state-of-the-art facilities, a strong sense of community, or a combination of these.
So don't get so caught up in being different that you forget to be good.
Exactly. Now let's shift gears and talk about a topic that's becoming increasingly important, sustainability.
Consumers are definitely more aware of environmental issues these days, and they're demanding that businesses step up. But I think a lot of businesses struggle with how to approach sustainability authentically.
Uh-huh.
without it feeling like just another marketing ploy.
You've hit the nail on the head. There's a fine line between genuinely embracing sustainability
Right.
and simply using it as a marketing tactic. Greenwashing, exaggerating your sustainability efforts is a
Yeah.
huge no-no. It can backfire spectacularly and damage your brand's reputation more than doing nothing at all.
It's like those commercials that showcase pristine forests and talk about eco-friendly practices
Uh-huh.
while their products are still packaged in excessive amounts of plastic. The disconnect is jarring,
Yeah,
and consumers can see right through it.
absolutely.
Transparency is key here. Be honest about your practices, highlight the progress you're making, and don't be afraid to talk about the challenges you're facing.
For sure.
Authenticity resonates far more than empty promises.
It really does.
Consumers appreciate honesty and genuine effort, even if you haven't achieved perfection yet.
Yeah.
It's about showing them you're on the journey and making progress.
Precisely. And on that note, there's another side to this coin.
Okay.
Green hushing.
Green hushing, what's that?
It's when companies are actually doing good things for the environment, but they're not talking about it enough. They might be afraid of being accused of greenwashing, or they might just not realize the importance of communicating their efforts.
So it's like they're doing their homework, but they're not turning it in.
Exactly. You need to let people know what you're doing.
Right.
Highlight your sustainable practices in your marketing materials, on your website, on social media. Share your story.
It's not bragging if it's true, and it can inspire other businesses to follow suit. It can create a ripple effect of positive change.
It can. Now, shifting gears again, let's talk about something that's often overlooked. Repeat customers.
It feels like everyone is always chasing new customers. But aren't our existing customers the real gold mine?
They absolutely are. For many businesses, the majority of their revenue comes from repeat customers, not new ones. It's much more cost-effective to retain customers than it is to constantly acquire new ones.
So how do we keep those loyal customers coming back for more?
It's all about building relationships,
Okay,
nurturing those connections, and making them feel valued.
right.
Think about loyalty programs,
Uh-huh.
exclusive discounts, personalized recommendations, anything that shows you appreciate their business.
And don't forget about the power of excellent customer service. A positive experience can turn a one-time buyer into a lifelong fan.
Exactly. Now, here's another tip for keeping customers engaged.
Okay?
Don't be afraid to expand your offerings based on their feedback.
So if we see an opportunity to create a new product or service that complements our existing ones, we should go for it.
Absolutely. It's a great way to increase customer lifetime value and generate even more revenue.
Okay.
Your existing customers are a valuable source of insights.
Right.
Listen to their needs, pay attention to their feedback, and don't be afraid to adapt and evolve your offerings accordingly.
Speaking of adapting, let's talk about one of the biggest challenges businesses face today.
Okay?
Staying ahead of the curve in a rapidly changing world.
The business landscape is constantly evolving. New technologies are emerging.
Right.
Consumer behaviors are shifting. And the competition is fiercer than ever.
It could feel like you're running on a treadmill just trying to keep up.
I know what you mean. That's why it's so important to embrace a mindset of continuous learning and adaptation.
Okay.
You need to be willing to experiment, try new things, and pivot when necessary.
So it's not about having all the answers. It's about being open to new possibilities and having the agility to adjust course.
Exactly. And that includes being open to new marketing channels and strategies.
Right.
What worked yesterday might not work tomorrow. You need to stay informed about the latest trends. Test different approaches, and be willing to let go of what's no longer effective.
So don't get stuck in a rut. Stay curious, stay agile, and never stop learning.
That's the key. Now, let's talk about another crucial element of successful marketing: understanding your audience.
Okay.
You need to know who you're trying to reach,
Right.
what their pain points are, what their aspirations are, what motivates them.
It's like trying to hit a target in the dark. If you don't know who you're aiming for, you're unlikely to hit anything.
Exactly. Invest the time and effort to develop detailed buyer personas profiles of your ideal customers.
Okay.
This will help you create marketing messages that resonate, choose the right channels to reach them, and tailor your offerings to their specific needs.
And don't forget about the power of storytelling.
Oh, that's so important.
People connect with stories, they evoke emotions, create memories, and build trust.
Absolutely. Weave storytelling into your marketing efforts, share your brand story, highlight customer success stories, use anecdotes to illustrate your points.
It's about making your brand relatable and creating an emotional connection with your audience.
Exactly. Now let's talk about a mistake that can really derail your marketing efforts: neglecting your website.
Your website is like your online storefront. It's often the first impression you make on potential customers.
It is. It needs to be visually appealing, easy to navigate,
Right.
and optimized for conversions.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure it's mobile friendly, loads quickly,
Uh-huh.
and provides a seamless user experience.
And don't forget about SEO. You want your website to rank high in search results so people can actually find you.
That's crucial.
Invest in keyword research, optimize your content, and build high-quality backlinks to improve your site's visibility.
All good stuff.
So it's not just about having a website. It's about having a website that works for you, attracting visitors, generating leads, and driving sales.
Exactly. Now, let's talk about a mistake that can be especially damaging in today's digital world: ignoring online reviews.
Reviews are like word of mouth on steroids. They can make or break a business.
Absolutely. People trust online reviews as much as personal recommendations.
Right.
Monitor your online reputation, closely respond to negative reviews professionally and promptly,
Mm-hmm.
encourage satisfied customers to leave positive reviews, and showcase testimonials on your website and marketing materials.
And don't forget about the power of social proof. Seeing positive reviews from others can give potential customers the confidence they need to choose your business.
They really can.
It's true. Positive reviews can be incredibly persuasive.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of persuasion, let's talk about a mistake that can be tempting, but ultimately detrimental: cutting corners on quality.
Ooh, that's a big one.
I know it can be so tempting to go for the cheapest option,
Yeah,
especially when you're trying to keep costs down.
right.
But I've learned the hard way that you often get what you pay for.
It's true. Investing in high-quality products, services, and even marketing materials is crucial for long-term success. It might seem like a bigger upfront investment, but it pays off in the long run through customer satisfaction, increased loyalty, and a stronger brand reputation.
So it's about thinking long-term, not just about saving a few bucks in the short term. It's about building a brand that people trust and respect.
Exactly, and that trust is invaluable. And that brings us to our final mistake for today,
Okay?
which ties back to something we discussed earlier about data-driven decision-making, not having a clear understanding of your metrics.
Right. We talked about the importance of tracking metrics.
Uh-huh.
But I think a lot of business owners struggle with knowing which metrics to focus on and how to interpret the data they're seeing. It can feel like a whole other language sometimes.
It can. It's like wandering around in the dark without a flashlight, as you said earlier.
Right. You need that data to illuminate your path and guide your decisions.
Exactly.
So which metrics should businesses be paying attention to, and what are some simple ways to start tracking and analyzing them?
It depends on your specific goals, of course.
Okay.
But some essential metrics to track include website traffic,
Mhm.
conversion rates, email open and click-through rates, and social media investment. Fortunately, there are many user-friendly tools available that can help you gather and analyze this data without needing a degree in data science.
So it's about finding the tools that work for you and your level of technical expertise. It's about making data accessible and actionable.
Exactly. And the insights you glean from that data can be incredibly valuable in helping you refine your strategies,
Mm-hmm.
optimize your campaigns, and ultimately achieve greater success.
This has been such an insightful conversation.
It has.
From the dangers of over-romanticizing your business to the importance of understanding your metrics, I feel like I have a whole new toolbox of strategies to help me avoid those common marketing mistakes.
Remember, marketing is a journey, not a destination. There will be bumps along the way, but by being aware of these common mistakes and taking proactive steps to address them, you'll be well on your way to building a thriving and sustainable business.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode and gained valuable insights to help your business grow. Don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and share your thoughts or questions in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, keep optimizing.